taking the time to be here for today's TradingPub event. We've got some outstanding guests here. We've got Adam Halpern and Stephanie Thomas from Indicator Warehouse, and we really appreciate you guys taking the time to be with us as well. Real quick, before we get started, we'll go ahead and show you a brief risk disclaimer. And again, you guys know this, but there is risk involved in trading. And so Stephanie and Adam will be just sharing about some general education, not making any kind of recommendations. The mission of the Trading Pub is to provide a place for our patrons where they can hang out with some of the top traders in the industry. Pub is the place to receive quality education, all while interacting with traders and investors who are just like you. Through the Trading Pub, we want you guys to learn about the markets. We want you to enjoy your time here. And then we also want to put a focus of giving back, and 10% of any revenues generated from Trading Pub are given to charities focusing on inner city revitalization and workforce development. We have a website at www.tradingpub.com, and we will record this. We'll post a copy of this recording hopefully by tomorrow morning. For those of you that are on Facebook, you can find us at facebook.com/tradingpub. We passed the 20,000 like mark very shortly, just this past week, and we're approaching 25,000. So if you haven't liked us yet on Facebook, you can do that. We post a lot of interesting articles about investing in the markets, and also some free videos and recordings for you as well. So definitely check us out there. And inside of that, you can click on Trading News. There's a breaking news feature. The last thing I want to cover before I turn things over to Adam and Stephanie, if you've been to our events before, it's very laid back. The only thing we really ask of you guys is just to be considerate to the other people in the room. If for some reason what they're talking about today doesn't strike a chord with you, you don't want to, don't be the guy that sits here and types in rude stuff. But, they're taking time out of their day. They understand that you're taking time out of your day, and so we want to make sure that everybody enjoys their time here. If for some reason it's not a fit for you, you're more than welcome to log out and enjoy the rest of your day. So Adam and Stephanie, I know Stephanie's working on getting her desktop sharing going, which sometimes can take a couple of minutes, but Adam, at this time, I will turn things over to you.
All right, thanks so much. Let me just get a quick type Y, make sure you can hear me clearly. Fantastic. All right, so I appreciate y'all filling out the poll in the beginning. This is exciting for us. Indicator Warehouse, I've been around now running this business for a little over 4 years, and so been working with TradingPub really since the beginning. In fact, Morgan and I have kind of an ongoing competition on who has the cooler Facebook, and clearly his 20,000 likes has proven that he's winning. Just always a pleasure to be with this audience, and it looks like there's a lot of new names, so that makes me excited because, I get to use my shtick, and, it's fresh. Typically when you you come to these types of events, there's always some kind of gift or promotion or something that comes at the end, and I think the idea is to keep you on the presentation long enough just so you stay for your gift. But I thought we'd do something a little different this time, and so I do have something that I am going to share with you. Actually, would you, Morgan, would you put that in the announcement box, that link I gave you? See if it'll work here. I don't know if that'll be a live link or not. That may be. That is a very long and ugly link, but it goes to a free indicator called the Omni Timer, one of our favorites, and it's just a gift for showing up today. And again, I honor you all for taking the time out of your day to come and listen to us. Hopefully, we'll have some intriguing stuff that you haven't heard before, and it'll make it worth it. But you're more than welcome to take advantage of this free gift from us. So real quick, Indicator Warehouse, we are unique in the marketplace. And what makes us unique is that we are truly a trading warehouse. So we don't write any indicators. We don't write the day trading systems. We represent the people who do. And so I have the pleasure of every day having the top programmers in the NinjaTrader community come to me and say, hey, I've got this really innovative trading tool. Would you please market it to your customer base on my behalf? And so I get to spend my day really playing with indicators and finding out the things that really make a difference. And we've really moved away from our original design. Originally, we were kind of a Home Depot of trading tools. And we had hundreds of indicators, and they were all under $97. And, It was just this crazy warehouse in which everyone just got lost. And what I learned over time is that people don't need a variation of the MACD. You can find that for free floating around out there. What people need are quality trading tools that make a difference in their trading. And so that is what our inventories evolved to. And then about, I guess it's 9 months now, I was involved in a project with 3 of the top NinjaScript programmers in the industry, and 3 of the top traders, the day traders that I know. And we basically, I challenged them and I said, all right, listen, I have 4 years worth of feedback from our customer base of what people want from a day trading system. If I give you all that feedback, can you make me the ultimate day trading system? And so what came out of that was this thing called the Diversified Trading System, or DTS. And that's what Stephanie's going to show you today. So Stephanie Thomas has been with me, kind of an interesting story. She was literally my first inbound phone call when I started Indicator Warehouse, and my cell phone rang, and she was calling up to ask about indicators. And we've stayed friends ever since, so much so that actually that I brought her on board. And she now heads up our professional services team and handles all of our pre-sales questions, all of our post-sales support. She's in charge of all that. She's just a superstar. We call her Queen Ninja Trader. So that's it. That's enough of me. If you do have any questions, I'm just going to drop my email in here. We're very old school about customer service at Indicator Warehouse, so we don't hide behind a web form or an email address. You're more than welcome to call us, and we love to talk about trading, obviously, as I run on here. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Stephanie. I'll be handling the questions while she's presenting. I will try to get to every single question that you ask. If for some reason we do run out of time, our email addresses will be available to you. Our telephone numbers will be available to you. We're more than happy to talk to you after the presentation or anytime you want. Okay, so with that, I will mute my mic and hand it off to Stephanie.
All right, Stephanie,
Hey, can I
you
get
can click the mic. There you go.
Great. Good. Is the volume good? Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction, Adam. And I am a proud member of the Indicator Warehouse team. We've been working on the DTS system for a couple years now, and I am very proud to present it. I think it's an awesome system. And I've got a lot to cover today, so I'm just going to dig right in and get started. And then any questions you might have, if you'll type them in the question box, and Adam can field them and direct them to me. So what I'd like to talk about first is our first bullet point in trading correlated markets. And if you're all pretty familiar with trading the futures markets, we all know that pretty much the YM, the Russell, the ES, the NASDAQ, they tend to run in the same direction. So if you're looking for a system that'll help you take maybe a trend trade, a bigger trade that you can hold throughout the day, and also be able to scalp a correlated market several times throughout the day, then that's one of the things that DTS specializes in, running and trading correlated markets at the same time. So what I'd like to do is start with, and I'll start with 3 different markets that I trade together. And I'll start with the Eagle Trend Trader. I find that working top down works the best for me. On my left chart here is our Eagle Trend Trader. In the middle is our Swing Trader, which is going to take intermediate swing moves out of the market. And on the right, I have the Scalp Trader. So we'll start with the Trend Trader. And as an example for today, coming into today's market, as you can see, we clearly had the overnight session from yesterday still very red and short going down, and this is the YM. This is being presented on the special customized IW mean Renko bars that we highly suggest for our DTS system. The trend trade actually kicked in at 7 a.m. So here's another reason why I like to work with the scalp and the swing at the same time, because if you came into this market somewhere around 9 or 9:30, well, you've already missed the trend entry. And so there's no reason why you can't still grab part of the trend trade, but obviously the signal was pre-market 7 a.m. And if you're not trading at that time, what I would suggest and consider is using the swing trader or the scalp trader to get a good entry, a safe entry on that same trend. So I'll show you how that works when we go back to trading the same market on all three systems. So the Eagle Trend Trader, I'll go into a few of the setups. When we have all red on our chart, red bar, red signal, red filter, and our Eagle band is hard edge up, that's showing us a very strong bearish market. The blue dots you see on my screen are our profit manager. And if I enter a trade at that location, we are going, our risk manager, which is also again part of our complete master DTS package, is going to set targets for you, 1 and 2 targets, and then I would turn the profit manager on to trail my runner automatically. What that does is it gives me the freedom to walk away from this chart once I'm safe in a trend trade and then go consider taking scalp or swing trades on other markets or on the same market if I choose on the different charts. Again, this trend trade on the YM started this morning at 6:58. I would have personally missed that this morning. Let's take a look at what happened on the scalp trader and the swing trader at that same time. And I'm just going to switch over to the YM so we can see if there would have been a nice entry for us somewhere more around where the market opens. And there clearly was. Again, looking at the trend trader first gives me the go-ahead to look at taking shorts only for me. We had another, this is a scalp trader, so we had another short entry at 7:41 Eastern AM. Another one here at 8:48. There's a few in here that I would have passed, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But this is just showing you how the scalp trader gave you the opportunity to get into that long trend trade. I'm sorry, the short trend trade that went a long way is what I really wanted to say. Here's another entry at 9:40 after the market opens. Another one at 9:44. A beautiful one at 9:58. So once the trend trade, again, was clearly short on the YM, looking for entries because I missed the short entry at 7 a.m. would have been my goal. And then on the swing trader, again, the swing trader is going to look for about an intermediate move. We're looking for 8 to 10 ticks on the swing trader on the YM. The TF, let me just show you the YM real quick. And we had, again, this one actually, the market just fell so fast at 7, we didn't really have an opportunity to get in on the swing trader either. Again, another beautiful reason why having 3 systems on my screen is really important, because that was a beautiful trend trade, but had you missed the good opportunity, you would have missed this entire move. Being able to enter that market in a couple different areas on the scalp trader is what caught the big move at the end of the morning. So again, now let's go back to correlated markets. If you all would just tell me some of the markets you like to trade, I'll watch some of the answers come through. Scalping, our scalp suggestion is 4 to 6 ticks on the scalper for target 1. And we do use our risk manager to allow for multiple contracts so that if you have a runner, if you can trade multiple contracts, ideally putting a runner on the scalper would be perfect. The swing trader, this is the one in the middle, we're looking for 8 to 10 ticks. And our trend trader, typically 20 to 30 ticks on the trend trader. Okay, so I see a lot of crude oil. For this first, I will show you crude oil on this. I really do love crude oil on the DTS system. I have a hard time correlating crude oil to anything, to be honest with you, because it's pretty volatile. But so what I'd like to do is maybe stick with the E-minis just for a short moment and show you again. If you are not able to trade the same, it's kind of difficult in that you have to have segregated accounts to take different positions and keep them isolated. So this is another reason why people will put the YM on their trend trader, then maybe put the Russell on their swing trader, and the NASDAQ, let's say, on the scalper. This way you can have 3 different positions going, not have to worry about segregating your accounts, although the broker that we work with, Myris, does allow for segregated accounts. It is a little bit more complicated to set up, but it can be done. But let's just take a look. So again, from 7 a.m. until our first reversal bar happened at 10:14, I would only be looking for shorts in any market that's correlated with the YM. And for the most part, you know, I know that they all take turns leading the market, but for the most part, they all run relatively the same. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. So if we were scalping the NASDAQ in correlation with the YM, we have a couple entries here again at 8:32, another entry at 9:39, and there are a few aggressive entries in between. I'm not mentioning them because they're not ideal setups. The signals are all red, that's true, but what we want to see is a bigger pullback into our micro macro pocket here, and then an entry fire off, and that's what we got here. We got it again here, and both of these locations. And then remember at 10:14, now this one's getting a little off because we got a green micro line, but it is still a valid signal. The entry is below the micro line, and we will take that. The 10:14 was when we got a reversal bar on the trend trader, and that's when I would have stopped taking the shorts. Now there are several entries here, and this was a very long move down from 7 a.m. this morning. So at some point you also do have to decide if the move could be over. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like about 6 really good entries, and Eric Sempt, who is a developer of DTS, would suggest that taking 3 max might be not being greedy, and that's good. It's always good not to be greedy. So we had at least 6 nice entries, all winners. Pushing it much further than that, you're always going to have one that might be a loser because it's going to be the end of the trend, and that would be this one at 10:09. At 10:14, we had a reversal bar on the trend trader, so I would have stopped taking shorts at that point anyway. And then we have, again, still working on the correlated markets. We go into turning green on our trend trader on the YM. There's not really an entry yet, but clearly here we're above our band. Everything's green. We're only really considering longs at this point in this market and any correlated market. So again, we're working on the bullet point of trading correlated markets. And although I don't really want this is not a perfect entry for me to go long on the trend trader. What I would be looking for is long entries on the scalp and long entries on the swing trader after 10:36. So I'm kind of going back and forth from these charts just to show you how you can scalp trade the NASDAQ when the YM is trending. And 10:30, 10:35, pull back into our micro line. So we're going to skip that one. Here's one that doesn't really work for me. Again, you can do the red micro, but we prefer the entry to be above the red micro. So we're going to wait. The yellow bars on the Hawk scalper are consolidation bars, and they're a very good sign of sideways markets. So when I get a yellow bar, besides the fact that it's below our micro line, I'm not interested. The first time I get a real good signal up here at the top of this market is here, and 11 a.m. And that is a signal I would consider, and gives us a little sideways action for a few bars, but it does take right off for us. Another thing that I have displayed on charts, just wanted to mention to you, is our ultimate support and resistance zones. And they're just really great. I found support and resistance zones that allow for profit target taking and maybe consideration if you're too close or right on that line, not taking the trade. So there's something to think about. If I had taken this trade here at, let's see, right here, sorry, at 11 a.m., I would have been very aware of what the market did once it hit this zone area. As you can see, it did kind of fly right through it. And so we didn't really have too much to worry about. But when we get a setup that's maybe a tick in front of one of these zones, I tend to shy away from them. I prefer the ones that are a tick off in the other direction. So this is a great example of one that I would have loved taking and considering, because again, this zone is going to be a nice target zone for you. This is not part of the DTS package, but it is a horizontal support resistance that I rely heavily on. So I always add it to all of my charts. And that is our ultimate support and resistance zone. This was also created by Eric Senft, who is the developer of the DTS system. It is not pivots. It's based on volatility and previous price action from days before. You will have up to 21 zones per day on your chart. Okay, so that is, I'm sorry if I'm talking fast. If I've missed any questions, Adam, if I turn my speaker down,
Nope,
so if you
we're
need
jamming.
to stop me or pause me, go ahead. Okay, good.
We're doing.
I just have a lot to cover here. Okay, so trading 3 different styles. This is, I get this question a lot. Well, works best. To be honest with you, they work best when they're all in sync. That's the way they work best for me. So what I'd like to do now is switch over to one market, and I'm going to link all 3 charts, and we'll go through a few different markets. And you know, the swing trader and the trend trader, they're going to give you bigger profit targets, but they also do require bigger stops. So our suggestion is using price structure as a stop, not an arbitrary number. You know, I only want to do 4-tick stop or 6-tick stop. In my book, from my experience, I know for me, I was doomed to failure when I said I could only afford 6-tick stops. If 6 ticks was not a good place for my stop, then I might as well just give the market my money. So you're going to be able to have tighter stops on the on the scalper, because the swings and the price structure are small. They are smaller. Let's take a look at the Russell today. And I'll take some suggestions on any colors. I'm sorry, any markets you'd like. I'm reading questions at the same time. Any markets you'd like to see in just a bit. So if you can't afford to trade the trend trader per se because the stops are bigger, you are looking at usually a 20-tick stop when you're looking at the price structure that this trend trader gives you. But again, remember, you're looking at a 20 to 30-tick profit target as well. But if you can't, what I do is I have the trend trader on my chart. I clearly, as you can see here, from about 10:23 this morning on the Russell, the trend trader was in transition, turning from short to long. Let's just make this nice and big so you can see. We were clearly short, and then we started getting our profit manager flipped on us. We started getting green bars. It does take some time for the transition to fully show itself. It doesn't just shoot straight up. But from this point on, I would have only considered longs on the scalper. So that's how I use the trend trader as guidance. So if I can't afford to place a stop, then what I do is use the trend trader as my guidance when it's clearly long, again after 1024, and then scalp your way into that trend. These stops are going to be more affordable, easier to get into the bigger picture. So that's how you can trade. You can scalp, but scalping with the trend will give you trade setups. You can scalp against the trend. No doubt you're probably going to be able to grab four to six ticks here and there, but not as consistent as if you were with the bigger trend trading alongside the Eagle trend trader. And then the swing trader, again, same thing. I try to only take the swing trades that are in correlation with the Eagle trend trader. And let's talk about those setups. We had one show itself at 1037 to go long, and it did not give. I would not have gotten full target on this one because I'm looking for at least a 1-to-1, but I would have gotten enough to get target 1 and again, that zone right there would have been my target 1. I'm not interested in any shorts because remember our trend trader is saying long only. Not interested in this short, but then we get another long signal right here at 8:04:30 at 11:11, and that clearly gives me my full target, no problem. Again, the rest of the afternoon, as you could see on the trend trader, was long, so we'd only be interested in longs. I actually probably would have missed this one. This one is a little too aggressive for me. The filter is red and the swing line is red, so I'm not taking that one. But there are a few more available throughout the afternoon. As you can see, we had a signal up here at the top of the market. It would have been buying the high of the day. Again, I don't typically take any that don't pull back into our swing line, so I would have missed that one as well, which it does end up working out, but it takes a lot of heat right in here in this consolidation area. This is the one that I would have considered because it had pulled back into our swing line. And that, again, gets a little bit, I don't know if I would have gotten off break even, but it doesn't take me out of my stop. My stop would have been below price structure, down underneath the swing prior to the entry. So that is how you would look at trading different methods, scalping or swing trading, if not able to trend trade. Again, only reason you wouldn't be able to trend trade because they are really, for me, they are the nicest trade setups. However, again, they do require a bigger stop. But on the Russell today, we had 2, 3 very nice trend trades, all paying off at least 20 ticks apiece on the Russell. And that was just in the afternoon. If you caught the early morning action at 7 a.m., you had a really nice one there as well. And if you have, again, if you're going to use Profit Manager for runners, you would have been in this trade all morning, and this first long that you took at 11:12 a.m., you would still be in that trade if you were still holding a position, because Profit Manager keeps you in the trade the longest on the trend trader. Okay. Next thing I'd like to cover, and I think I kind of just went into that, the trend is your friend. So we all agree that trading with the trend, I think, is the safest way to go. I just wanted to show you that we have, one of our philosophies is the trend is your friend. So again, we had a trend trade at 7 a.m. A lot of us are not trading at 7 a.m. When we come in around 9:30, look what we see here. I'm going to pull this right to the right edge of the chart so you can see if you come in around 9 a.m. to get ready to start trading, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Not quite there. We've already missed our entry. So here we are. We've already missed our entry, and we clearly have some room to go down in here that the trend is going possibly to give us. So the trend is our friend. Maybe what we need to do is, again, find our way into this trend by using the scalp trader or the swing trader. Okay, so that's I wanted to kind of expand on that statement that we made. And I think I already went over how we would have done that this morning. And I'll point it out again on the Russell. Coming in around 9 a.m. We actually don't get a really good setup until 9:39 here. Prior to 9:39, I just wasn't, for me, I'm not interested in them because they weren't a deep enough pullback. And that's typical of a runaway market. So, the market kind of just really fell off on us early pre-market, finally gave us a deep enough pullback and gave us an entry at 9:39. Okay, so that's just an example of how you can trade with the trend again by scalping. And okay, so the other thing I really wanted to cover today is when you are trading with the trend. Oh, is my sound breaking up? Adam, I heard someone saying my sound's breaking.
Don't worry about it.
How am I?
If you've got Skype running or something, go ahead and turn it off. But it's okay. You're fine.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry if I'm breaking up for you guys. Okay. Let me just take a look and see. I may have. Okay, great. What I wanted to mention again about the trend, the profit manager. I know we kind of talked about that a little bit, but just to expand on that, if you were able to enter that trade at 7 a.m. and walk away from it, letting the profit manager control your stop, and that's these blue dots here, would really give you, it wouldn't have given you the full amount, obviously, but it really does give you a lot of potential that many of us are not disciplined enough to let happen. We often fear that, we're going to get 10 ticks and our profit. Again, if you're trading multiple contracts and can take 10 and then take 20, that's awesome. And then let your runner be managed by this profit manager. That's one thing that the profit manager has really helped me with, is allowing myself to stay in a trade longer. I especially like it on the trend trader. Again, here, entering the TF at 11:12, again, taking profit at 10 and 20 ticks. That's some of our guidelines or suggestions. And then letting the blue dots manage your runner. And as you can see, you would have been in it right up until the end of the day, depending on, if you hold overnight or not, even just being able to close at the high of the day. So that's talking to you about the, fear and greed on profit taking. At the same time, I don't normally trade against the profit manager. We don't require it, but as you can see, when profit manager is on your side on the trend trader, you are going to get really nice moves and be able to take full advantage of that profit. When the profit manager is against your signal, your moves are going to be not as trending. And that happens. You will have that because, as we all know, the market doesn't trend beautifully. Here's an example of, again, another nice trend that started at 4:01 a.m. on the 21st. And as you can see, the profit manager would have kept you in that trade until the 23rd. If you hold overnight and that's something you can handle, here's an example of a 2-day trade that profit manager allows you to stay in, maybe just with your runner. Any questions? I think I've covered most everything that I wanted to cover. If there's any instruments you'd like to see, how they traded today.
Stephanie, Bill is asking if you'll show DTS for Monday of this week.
Okay, I sure will. Any particular instrument, Bill?
Bill?
Is the Russell okay? E-mini S&P?
Oh, Bill's a brave man. He trades the E-mini.
Yeah, not my favorite market.
Man against machine. Man against
Yeah,
machine.
exactly. Very manipulated. Hmm. It's very manipulated. It's got you know, people love to trade it because it has a lot of volume, but for me, I think it has too much volume. But let's take a look at it and we'll see what it did for us. Okay, we've got, is that the 27th? Oh yeah, I mean, I believe I heard this too, the E-mini didn't even move 5 points on Monday. So, not something that would have been that fruitful on the trend trader. The trend trader gave you a signal at 11:39. When you came into the market, it was on the bias was definitely long. So let's take a look at the scalper because if I was trading the ES, I would only scalp it because it just doesn't want to do much more than that. Okay, so let's see. You're a really tough market. Consolidation, yellow bar. Not interested in that. No short signals. Yellow bar. Okay, the first true scalper signal on the ES as you sat here all day and watched it was at 3:16 at New York time. Short. Hopefully, you know, that's why I don't like, that's another reason why I don't like trading the ES. It just doesn't have any, it doesn't seem to have a lot of good, it's not smooth. There are no valid signals here, just so you know. They're, in my book, they're very, after the opening at 9:30, we have a yellow bar here that tells us consolidation market. So we skip that. Then we get a bunch of red bars but no signals. Then we get more yellow bars with a long signal, not interested in that. Then we get our red bar. Our first pullback into our micro macro lines gives us our signal at 3:16 p.m. So if you don't mind waiting, that was the first good signal of the day on the scalper.
Yeah,
Like I
Thomas was
said,
saying he did well in the
I
ES
wouldn't
today on the Hawk.
today.
Thomas was saying that he did well with yeah. But as you said, if you're going to be in the
Oh,
ES, and that's a big if, then yeah, I would definitely scalp. Um, if
Yeah,
you're looking for
definitely. Let's
smoother
take a look
moves,
at it
yeah,
today
you're
on the
looking
scalper.
for YM or NQ.
Yeah, let's take a look at the ES on the scalper today. Pre-market 6:15, nice entry, beautiful entry actually. 11:01, nice entry. Another one at 12:16. Another one at 1:31, 14:40. These are all New York time. So yeah, they were all winners. All those scalps on the ES did excellent. Good job. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the ES, whoever said that. But I think Thomas said the NQ. Yeah, we were looking at the NQ. It was awesome on the scalper, and NQ is great on all three systems, scalp trader, the swing trader, and the trend trader. Yeah, Dave, yep. ES did beautiful on the Hawk today. Any other questions, Adam, you want me to cover?
Thomas said this was a good day to do a webinar because it was such a great day trading. I actually asked the market to do this so our system would look so good when we were presenting. So,
Yeah,
you know, I'm very well
yeah.
connected.
Dave, the ES is a great, you know, bang for the buck, but so is the Russell. And it at least gives you some range of motion. The Russell will give you, you know, same margins, pretty good, $10 a tick. And as you could see, the Russell gave you, let's take a look at the Russell on Monday. I mean, I really do think Monday was tough because it was following the holiday weekend, but let's just see what it did on the Russell. Yeah, see here we had a 942 long on Monday on the Russell that worked out beautifully. And trading the Russell, I'm sure, in the same direction on Monday would have been great on the scalper and the swing trader as well. We'll peak because Monday was, I
The
think,
thing to
tough for
remember here,
people.
folks,
But I think it was
is the diversifications. Hang on one second, Steph. The thing to remember, and this is hard for us day traders because we're so used to, getting that one system that's supposed to be the holy grail and trade that one market or two markets, and you're supposed to sit on your hands and wait for the signal, right? That's called being a disciplined trader, which we all know is BS because it's incredibly hard to just sit on your hands and wait. So the innovation here was this idea of approaching either one market or correlated markets, separate markets, whatever it may be, with different views of the market action, right? Scalp, swing, and trend. So because of the risk manager and the profit manager, you can put on a position, let's say if you catch the trend, and just leave it all day. Now, I don't know about you, but there's no way I would have done that without some kind of automated tool. I just wouldn't have had the psychological wherewithal to do it. But now I can put on a trend trade, let it run the day out, and while that's happening, go pick up some scalps or some swings. It's pretty neat. And it's I'd like to say that I invented this idea, but it really came from my experience with working with my 401k. We all know when we're working with a 401k, you're supposed to diversify, right? A little bit of small cap, a little bit of large cap, mid cap, whatever. That's the approach we took when we designed this for discretionary trading. Same concept. It was a way to deal with erratic markets and still be able to come out ahead. Somebody asked if we have this for TradeStation. I'm sorry, TradeStation folks, we are 100% Ninja.
Ninja's awesome, Michael. You
Well,
need to
I got a
switch
frowny
over
face
to
on
Ninja.
Michael.
Yeah, I told Michael Ninja is the best. Come on over to the light side.
Well, the beauty of Ninja is that it is very flexible from a brokerage perspective. So, excuse me. Someone had asked earlier if this is just for futures, and if you have a multi-license with Ninja, you can be running a Forex account, you can be running a futures account. Hopefully soon, when we prove out the equity side of the house, you'll be running a stock account, and at that point, who cares what market you're trading? It's just DTS finding the best signal for you.
I forgot to show Risk Manager. I'm not sure if anyone wants to see anything about it. Can I do a quick run on that one, Adam? We have time?
Yeah, sure. It's the ultimate
I'll
secret that
just
nobody
go
wants
over
to
some
hear
of the
about,
basics
but
of it. Risk management, yeah. So our risk manager that comes with our DTS master package is an awesome tool if you are trying to really control your risk and you're finally building your account up where it needs to be. What we have is we have some parameters that you can preset for what your risk tolerance is, what kind of order you want to go in with, market order, limit order. You'll set your prices. You're looking for the entry mark, which is our hash mark. You're then going to place your stop at the appropriate area, and we've got some suggestions on different ideas of stop placement. The risk manager at this point with my size contract would say to go long 8 contracts. Target 1 and target 2 are pre-placed, but I will tell you once I place my order, I do adjust them according to support resistance zones that might be in my way. So I might move my target 1 up a bit and my target 2 down a bit to take advantage of that target zone, that's resistance zone that's right up ahead of me. And then my runner would be controlled by my profit manager. And on the scalp trader, we have several different methods of trailing with the profit manager automatically. My favorite one for the scalp trader is bar high, bar low. So that's a little bit on risk manager. Again, target 1 on this particular one would have been 120, 240 on target 2, and the last portion of the lot size, which I believe would have been 2 contracts, would have been set as runners.
So look, we could do a whole session just on risk management, which is a fancy way of saying position sizing. Uh, it is the secret to success in trading, even though it also is sometimes a very harsh reality. So because it will show you if your account is underfunded, you may set up Risk Manager to get in a trade, and it's going to say 0 contracts. And the truth is, as painful as it is, you shouldn't be taking that trade. That risk is too extreme for your account. Hyper traders don't like to hear that, right? But the beauty of Risk Manager is it will identify based on Van Tharp's algorithm of never risking more than 2% of your account. It will identify how many contracts you can afford to get in with. And the critical part of that is most of us started out as onesie twosie contract traders. With Risk Manager, it will make sure you're not trading more than 2% of your account, but you may get in with 7 contracts. The risk may be such that you can take advantage of a 7 contract move, and that's where the real money's made. In fact, we have here. I'll put this in here. Hold on. That's a free tool that really explains position sizing and the theory behind risk management very nicely. And you're welcome to use it. It's a free tool we use when we do our presentations.
Cole had a question. Cole, if you are allocating 2% of your account and you are in 8 positions on the Russell scalping chart, no, if you're still in those 8 positions, Risk Manager will not allow you to take any more trades because you've maxed out your 2%. But if you've gotten some off or you're in profit, then it does consider your account balance at that time. So no, if you take your full 8 contracts on this chart,
Go
ahead.
Go ahead, Stephanie.
I was just trying to expand on that. The 8 contracts, if this gave me 8 contracts on 2%, as long as I'm still holding those 8 contracts, if I try to take another trade somewhere else, it would tell me 0 contracts. Go ahead.
I was just going to say we were thinking about renaming the product Account Protector, because that's really what it does. It protects your assets so that you can trade another day, which is really the name of the game.
Awesome. Any other questions I need to cover? And I did put my email address if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask me directly. Happy to reply.
So we don't have any stats, Cole, to show. I mean, if you think about it, the way Stephanie trades it's slightly different than the way Eric trades it, and it's different than the way Ray does it or Omar. I mean, this is a discretionary trading system. It's not a black box auto system. And so everybody's results are going to be slightly different. So I know that, you'd love to see a perfect, kind of equity curve for something like this, but that just doesn't come into play when you're talking about discretionary trading systems.
I think Rob would like to see crude oil.
Sure.
Yeah, you do have to think, Thomas. That's true. Okay. Crude oil today. $2 a.m., quarter to 2 a.m. New York time. Started that beautiful trend down. So again, if you were not trading at 2 a.m. and you came in anywhere pre-market around the opening of crude, you would have needed to scalp your way into that move, if you even were going to consider it. That's a pretty big move. Let's just take a look at the scalp trader. Now, crude is obviously anyone that trades it knows. Let's see here. It's very volatile. We had an entry at 8:45, 9 a.m. Crude, even if I'm scalping crude, I'm definitely not putting my stop too close. So this is you've got to give any market like crude, you've got to give it a little more wiggle room on stop placement, even on the scalp trader in my book, because it's hard to scalp crude. So you have an entry here at 8:45 and another one at 9 a.m. And depending on where you place your stop, if you placed it right over this entry bar, you're out on the first entry, but you're making lots of money on your second entry. I personally wouldn't have my stop that close. Here's another nice entry at 9:08 and another entry at 9:25. And that was pretty much it. Not an entry, not an entry, not an entry. 10:11, there's an entry to scalp. It goes 6 ticks. And again, our scalp targets are typically 4 to 6 ticks, even on crude, believe it or not. And you can usually get that in a heartbeat. Yeah, crude did pretty good on the scalp trader. Again, whenever you see the yellow bars on our scalper, it's a good sign to stay out. It's consolidation sideways. The yellow bars are pretty good at spotting that. So although you do make it eventually, if you have a really wide stop, it's best to wait for everything to turn green to go long.
The
Okay.
crude giveth and the crude taketh away.
Yeah. Gary, does the software take volatility or ATR into account? I'm not really
I got
sure,
that one.
Gary. I'm not
I
sure your
answered
question. Oh, you got it already?
It's
Okay,
the Profit
I'm sorry.
Manager.
Thank
So
you.
yes, Profit Manager has 12 different stop types. In it, you have ATR and a few other ones that take volatility into account. You can trail also according to percentage. You can trail according to price. You can trail according to Bollinger Bands, PSAR, you name it. And then you can define how far back you want the ATR to look.
Good, good. Gold is a little bit messy. Is that this morning? Gold had a short entry at 9:12. Green bars, not taking short with green bars, green bars. And then it had a long entry at 10:22. And that's on the trend trader. And both of those were clearly nice trend moves for intraday trending purposes. Another one at 10:38, 12:16. Again, I say it's a little messy because although the Profit Manager is not part of the DTS entry system, it is against that entry. So not my favorite move. If I'm going to take that move, I'm going to take profit before I get to those blue dots.
Michael, your question, is it effective during the night season session? Pardon me. It's effective as any day trading system is. It needs volatility or, movement in order to work. Right now, it's most popular actually, if you're talking night session, you're really better off trading probably the Forex market at that time. And so it's proven itself beautifully in the Forex space.
I mean, if the market is moving, like we saw that crude oil move at 2 a.m., if the market moves during the night session, then it will give you the signals.
Exactly. I mean, you never know, but I'm just saying you can depend on the Forex to move. Al, I know you're asking me kind of salesy related questions, and I will get slapped on the wrist by Morgan if I answer them. But that's also part of Stephanie's job, is to answer any kind of pre-sales questions. So just contact her, offline, and she has access to all of our promotions and discounts and everything else imaginable to make sure that you make a comfortable decision if you invest. So we have what we call IW experts that really specialize in different markets. Eric Sem's area is futures. Ray Burke also does futures. Omar El Tuki, that is really his name. He's our specialist for Forex. And then we have an up-and-comer that we haven't announced yet, who's testing and will be specializing for equities. And Stephanie's just our all-around general, kind of goddess of all things, ninja trader. So it's a great team. And if you go to our site and you click on Contact Us, you can find contact information for each of the individuals. Rob, are you asking about Ninjacators, or are you asking about what the name of our site is? Oh, no, far from it. This is us. Or maybe this is a better way of doing it.
I thought somebody asked for natural gas. That had a beautiful day today as well. And the nice thing about, and today was kind of a, one of those V-bottom days. We had a beautiful trend down, and then we had a complete turnaround and a beautiful trend up. This natural gas closes a little early. We really, really love the DTS on our customized mean Renko bars. And these are very different than what you're used to seeing traditionally. They will show you the true highs and lows. And they have a little bit of Fibonacci built into them in that they take into consideration the middle or the mean of the previous price action bar. So that we found to be best suited for our DTS system. You can trade
So
on
Stephanie
minute bars,
broke up a little bit. The IW mean Renko bars were specifically spec'd out and designed for us for this system. In fact, the fellow that designed them, he writes missile guidance systems. So we always joke that his versions of real time and ours is a little different, but they're phenomenal. They're definitely the best variation of Renko bar that I've seen out there. Rob, your question about Ninjacators, that's an off topic. That's not really for this forum. So if you want to call me personally on that or email me personally, you're welcome to. And Cole, if you want to talk about live accounts, results, all that kind of stuff, again, contact me, and I'm happy to talk to you about that. Or Stephanie.
I think I already showed YM, but I'll show it one more time. If Luna, if you missed it.
While you're at it, so Al, thanks for the setup. Yes, again, because I've been in this business now over 4 years, I know what everybody wants in an indicator and a system. So when I was working with the programmers, I made sure that, basically what all this feedback led to is what you're seeing, which is really a very simple, clear entry. You'll notice they all use the exact same entry approach. And Stephanie, you can explain the triangles and the hash marks, etc. But they all have one filter at the bottom, and they all have an audio alert. So when the hawk fires off, it says scalp, and the trend, an eagle goes off, it says trend, and then the other one says swing. So what's nice about that is, you can have multiple charts up, and you just get, you get an audible alert that it's time to look for your scalp.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'm so sorry I forgot to go over some of the very basics because I was getting so deep into correlated markets and trend trading and scalping. But yeah, every one of the systems does have visual and audio signals that will be live, real time, and they do not repaint and they do not fire off too early. So if you see a green dot, for example, let me just mark this up a little bit. Okay, so here we are at the end of the day and we get a green dot. That bar right there is going to tell you that get ready for a long signal. It will actually say scalp, and we can show you when you purchase the DTS system, we can actually show you how to customize these audio signals as well. So you could actually say scalp YM to know exactly which chart you're going to if you trade multiple instruments. So at this time it says scalp. and that gives you heads up to come and look at your scalping chart to see what's setting up. You can also get an email sent to your phone or computer. And then the next bar, and this is a little bit clustered right here, but there is a entry triangle right there at the bottom of that bar. As soon as that bar closes, you'll get another signal along with that visual that says scalp. And basically you are to place your order right on that hash mark. That is your entry. You actually can use a little tool we call the logi counter to know exactly where that hash mark will print ahead of time. And that's available. It's not part of the master package. I do use it. So when I see this setup bar happening, I'll know exactly where this bar will close and where my entry should be. And I could have placed my order at 12,940 before this bar even, as soon as it opened, before it even closed. That is your signal and your entry to get long at 12,940 on the scalp trader at 3:23 in the afternoon today. So yeah, each one of them has a audio, and each one of them have real-time visual signals to get ready on the bars before, and then place your order on the close of this bar. Any other questions on the signals that you'd like me to go over?
So Steve asked if we've ever tested this on 1, 3, or 6 months. And the truth is no. We do have people using it on daily charts. And so I don't see why it wouldn't work on a monthly, but most of our customer base tend to be intraday traders, who maybe hold, overnight for a few days at the most. It's just not. That's the kind of clientele that's been attracted to NinjaTrader initially. As we start to break into the equity space, I think we'll start seeing much more end-of-day traders and daily traders, hourly traders, that kind of stuff. But so far, mostly it's been intraday stuff. Cole, when you contact us,
And
I'm happy to talk to you about.
Sorry.
Oh, go on. Go on, please.
I was just going to say, the other part of the DTS that I love is the simplicity of the color codes. So if everything is green, there's 4 or 5 watching for, and when you have a signal and everything is green, it's just clearly a long, and when everything is red, it's clearly a short. And if there is one thing off, and we talk about that in the training and in the manual, we give some leeway depending on where price has been and where it looks like it might go. But again, like I said with the micro line, if everything is, give you an example here. I think we had one here. Well, the point is that if we have everything red, we're going to take a short. But if one thing is off, like the micro line, if it's green, if the entry is right, then we will consider it. But it is considered a more aggressive entry. For example, here we have a green filter, green macro line, green bar, green entry, but we have a red micro line. So as you can see, the entry was good. It was above the micro line. But it does take some heat. I mean, it doesn't, give you a clear winner right away, but it doesn't stop you out either. So color coding the system was really important for us to keep it simple for people to be able to know which signals were going to work out the best. Go ahead, Adam.
So Steve asks, how long does it take to get comfortable with the system? The facetious side of me says it depends on the chair you're sitting in, but that's just because it's the end of the day and I'm tired. The truth is this: we've had trading rooms and experimented with them, and the crazy thing is people kept leaving after about a month's time. And I'm a marketer, so I call them up and I'm like, okay, why are you leaving? And they said, well, because we get it. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, well, I get it. I don't need to be in the trading room anymore. And in fact, one guy said to me, well, if you'd made it more convoluted and more difficult, I would have stayed longer, which I think is a compliment. And so what we do what we do? Sorry, I'm tired. What we do have for people who invest in the DTS system is we do have training, and so it comes with a whole series of video training, and then we've had live training that we've also recorded and have a whole membership site that's private and available to you. And of course, you have access to any of the experts to ask them questions. As I said earlier, Eric, Ray, Stephanie, Omar. And we have a public forum for asking questions. So all that, if you go to our homepage and scroll to the bottom, there's all kinds of resources there. But yes, I'm a big proponent in training. Again, another thing I've learned over time, unlike some of these other tool vendors that are out there that are just pitching tools, I realized you really need a Bob Vila to go with the tools and kind of help you understand how to use this crazy power saw that we're selling, to use the metaphor. And so, yes, we're very big on education. Al asks, does it take into consideration market momentum? Yes. Buy, sell volume? No. There's no volume component to this, which is partially why there's no issue with it working in the Forex world. And so I guess you could make an argument that there's some volume element to the mean Renko bars, but this is really pure price action. All right, it's 4:37. I really love these questions, and obviously we can go on forever, but I know Morgan can be a little strict about this stuff. So, anything else you want to ask while you have me and Stephanie captivated here? Know how much questions? I'm sorry, you have to contact Stephanie for that one. Great. Thank you all for joining us today. As I say, it's always a pleasure. I don't know what Morgan's secret sauce is that he attracts such quality individuals to the presentations, but it's always a pleasure to present to his group. So as I said before, Stephanie, please put your email in there. Here's mine. Here's our telephone number. We'd love to talk, obviously. Feel free to contact us. And with that, I will say have a great day. And Stephanie, thanks for doing.
All right, great. Thank you. Thanks, Adam and Stephanie. Excellent presentation. We'll definitely get a copy of this recording up as soon as possible. I know we'll have a lot of people that want to review it. So we appreciate you guys being here. Our next event is actually going to be this Saturday. We have a lot of really good feedback from our Saturday event, so we'd love for you to join us there. And also want to remind you to be sure to check out, and Adam posted his email in there. We had some people that had an issue with the link earlier, but indicatorwarehouse.com, you can get some excellent